We are in the presence of the jury. Mr. Bahena is present along with the attorneys of record. When we were last here, the defense had rested. Mr. Brown, does the state have any rebuttal?
Judge, we have one short rebuttal witness, Nick Wilson.
You may call Mr. Wilson at this time then. Can you get your raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, Mr. Wilson, head right over there if you would, please. Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
Mr. Wilson, good morning.
Good morning.
Can you please state your name for the record?
Nick Wilson,
And can you tell us where you live?
Brooklyn, Iowa.
How long have you lived in Brooklyn, Iowa?
Since I was 5.
Okay, so you grew up there?
Yes.
Went to high school there?
Yes.
All right, when did you graduate high school?
2010.
Are you employed?
Yes.
Where do you work?
Jasper Construction.
And what type of work does Jasper Construction do?
Bridge construction and repair.
I forgot to ask you, are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
1.
All right. How long have you been married?
Just a little over a year.
All right, Jasper Construction, that's, how long have you worked there, did you say?
10 years.
And what type of work does Jasper Construction do?
Bridge construction.
And does your work take you on the road?
Yes, it does.
Typically, do you work in the state of Iowa?
Yes, typically.
And whenever it takes you on the road, is it usually for a week or 4 or 5 days of a work week?
Yes. We're usually home every weekend.
And do you work long days?
When we're on the road especially, yes.
I assume bridge construction is hard work, is that right?
Pretty manual, yes.
Mr. Wilson, do you know Dalton Jack?
Yes, I do.
How long have you known him?
5 years.
And did Dalton Jack ever work for Jasper Construction?
Yes, he did.
And did he work in the summer of 2018? Was he working for Jasper Construction?
Yes, he was.
And was he a good worker?
Very good.
Showed up on time?
Yes.
Never had any real problems with him?
Nope.
Did you know Dalton Jack outside of work with Jasper Construction?
Just at hotel, when hanging out with him, yeah, just a little bit. Not personally, but yes.
You're a little older than him, is that correct?
Correct.
All right, I want to direct your attention, Mr. Wilson, back to the week that includes Wednesday, July 18th of 2018. Do you recall that week?
Yes, I do.
Was that the week that Mollie Tibbetts went missing?
Yes.
Is that why you can remember that week a little bit better than others?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, sorry.
It's all right. So tell me, when did the job start what job were you working the week that included July 18th of 2018?
Well, that Monday we started on a job we had to do. It was in Amana. It was probably 5 minutes east of Williamsburg. And then that following Tuesday, we were up in Dubuque, and that's when we started staying in the hotel. And we got in Dubuque at 6 o'clock that Tuesday, and worked till 5 o'clock. And then that Tuesday, we would go get groceries for grilling and everything like that. Then
Okay.
Wednesday.
Hang on just a second. You're getting just a bit ahead of me.
Okay.
Let's talk about that work week that includes July 18th. So 2 days before, on July 16th of 2018, was your crew working in Iowa County?
Yes.
You said near the Amana colonies?
Yes.
And did Dalton Jack, was he included on that crew?
Yes, he was.
All right. Was that just a one-day job?
No, it was a job I was doing in the meantime while crews were doing removals on the Dubuque job. So we had to wait for them to do the removals, and then once they had the removals done, we were going up there to form up to report.
Okay. So one day in Iowa County?
Yes, Monday.
And then did your crew that included Dalton Jack then move to Dubuque?
Yes.
And what was the job there? Specifically, where was it located?
On Highway 61, right before going over into Wisconsin.
And explain the type of work that you do on bridges like the one that goes over Highway 61 near Dubuque.
Well, we would break all the way through the bridge deck, and they have joints in the bridge that allow the bridge to move. And we had to replace those joints, so we'd bust them out, we'd reform up underneath of it, place a new joint in there, and then pour concrete all around the joint to hold it in place.
And on Tuesday, July 17th, Wednesday, July 18th, and Thursday, July 19th, was Dalton Jack working with you in the city of Dubuque on the job you just described?
Yes, he was.
Have you had it, or did I ask you to go back and look at employment pay sheets to verify hours and the presence of other crew members?
Yes, you did.
Did that help refresh your memory?
Yes, it did.
And let's talk about Wednesday, July 18th of 2018. Do you remember that particular day?
Yes, I do.
All the way also is that week is particularly memorable to you for another reason?
No.
Okay, is it the week that Mollie Tibbetts went missing?
Yes.
Okay, so does that
Yeah.
help you remember?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes.
I may have already asked you that. Now, going back to Wednesday, July 18th of 2018, was Dalton Jack on the crew that was working in Dubuque on the bridge that crossed the river?
Yes, he was.
And on Wednesday of July 18th of 2018, what were Dalton Jack's hours?
Objection, calling for hearsay.
Overruled. Witness may answer.
5:30 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Whenever a particular, by the way, this crew that you're working, are you in a supervisory position?
Yes.
Do you log their hours for them, the men on your crew?
Yes, I do.
They don't have anything to do with that themselves?
No, they do not.
Do you create a timesheet that reflects the hours that each crew member worked?
Yes, I do.
And how long did Dalton Jack work specifically on July 18th of 2018?
12.5 hours.
He worked till 7 p.m.?
Correct.
Were you and the other crew members staying at a motel near Dubuque?
Yes, it was a Days Inn in Dubuque.
And how far was the Days Inn from the job site that you described to us?
10 minutes.
And did you and your crew, including Dalton Jack, go anywhere after work at 7 p.m. on July 18th of 2018?
No, we did not.
Did you go back to the hotel?
Yes.
All right. And did Dalton Jack go with you?
Yes, he did.
Did you see him at the Days Inn after 7 p.m. on July 18th of 2018?
Yes, I did.
So what was the plan then after work for July 18th of 2018 for you and your crew?
We usually go back to the hotel, get showered up, then bring our food out. We all have one grill, and we all just grill at the same grill and have a couple beers, play bags, and then usually go to bed decent time so we can get up, work a good day tomorrow.
And did you do that on July 18th of 2018?
Yes.
And was Dalton Jack present for the grilling?
Yes.
And did he play bags?
He did.
Did you ever see him go back to his room? Do you ever recall that?
No.
On July 19th of 2018, what was the plan for the workday?
Well, we started at 5:30 that day. We knew rain was coming, so we were just trying to put in a good day before the rain hit. So we worked through lunch, and we stopped at 2 o'clock that day. And then after that, we called it. We waited out rain for about half an hour, and then we'll call the day. And then we went back to the hotel, and we stayed at the hotel because we're going to work the next Friday anyways.
And was Dalton Jack present for the workday on Thursday, July 19th of 2018?
Yes, he was.
As far as you know, was he there the entire time from 5:30 a.m. to 2 p.m.?
Yes.
By the way, did he have a specific job on your crew?
He would just be considered a laborer.
Did you notice anything unusual with Dalton Jack's demeanor, how he was acting on July 19th of 2018?
Yes.
And can you describe that, please?
He was acting kind of down, not really speaking with his, the group, and just kind of sad.
And did he ever express to you what was causing him to be sad?
Later on that day, yes, he did.
What did he say?
He told me that he hadn't spoke to Mollie in 18 hours, and he was getting worried, and nobody had heard from her, none of the friends he'd contacted, and he was going to maybe leave that night to go put a missing person report at the 24-hour mark, and told me that he might not be at work the next Friday.
Was that okay with you?
Yes, it was.
Okay, were you worried for him?
Yes, I was.
And did Dalton Jack come to work then on Friday, July 20th of 2018?
No, he did not.
To your knowledge, did he go back to Brooklyn?
Yes.
Did you and the rest of the crew finish out your job on Friday?
The rest of the crew did. I left a little early to go help search
Go help search for who?
for Mollie.
And when did you do that?
I did that probably 9 o'clock in the morning on Friday. I called my boss, asked him if I could leave and come help because he has property in Brooklyn, farm, ground, and everything, and he said that was fine.
And did you drive back to Brooklyn?
Yes.
Is it about from the bridge to back to Brooklyn, is it about little over
Yep.
2 hours?
Yes.
And whenever I say that, the 2-hour drive or a little more?
Yep.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Defense may cross-examine.
Sir, you were in Brooklyn helping with the search, is that right?
Correct.
I haven't seen any records of you being interviewed. Do you recall if you were ever interviewed originally?
I was just interviewed by the FBI agent. I do not remember his name. He called me. I didn't get interviewed in person, but it was a cell phone call.
All right, so you were called by an FBI agent, is that
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
How long did that call last?
It lasted maybe a matter of 3 minutes, maybe.
What was the call regarding?
Just Dalton's whereabouts.
Now, you were not originally subpoenaed as a witness to testify at this trial, is that correct?
Someone
Correct.
objected, calls it's not relevant as to when we call him.
Overruled.
You were not subpoenaed, is that right?
Correct.
When were you contacted about testifying at this trial?
Actually, a couple weeks beforehand by the sheriff.
All right, and what was your understanding of the reason for the call?
To give Dalton an alibi, technically, yes.
So you were called by the sheriff to give Dalton an alibi, is that right?
Well, yeah, I was the only witness there for him, pretty much, other than the crew.
Were you ever asked to produce these records that you relied on?
Later on, yes.
So just recently, is that right?
I offered to bring him beforehand, but
But-
then he asked me to bring him once, yes, later on.
All right, so originally when this investigation was going on in 2018, were you ever asked to produce records?
No.
So the records that you've relied on, you've just looked at in the last couple of weeks, is that right?
Correct.
Sir, there's been some talk about you drinking most of the day, that you were rained out on Thursday, July 19th of 2018. You recall drinking that day?
Yes.
And specifically, it was asked if you needed to have a ride to the store because you were so intoxicated.
It's not correct. I had a company vehicle, and I was following the law,
Which is what?
which is you cannot drink and drive.
So you asked for someone else's assistance on July 19th to get to the store, is that right?
Correct.
Specifically, who was that?
Dalton, Jack.
And that was because you were not in a condition to drive, is that correct?
That's because I would not be able to pass a breathalyzer, correct?
Now, it's customary for crews to drink after a long day of work, isn't that right?
Correct.
So pretty much any day that you are working, you are also consuming alcohol later on that night. Is that right?
No.
Most nights?
No.
Well, let's talk about Wednesday, July 18th of 2018. You said that you drank a couple of beers that night, isn't that right?
Correct.
Now, if Dalton Jack originally said to law enforcement that he showered that night and watched Rush Hour 1 in his room, would you disagree with that statement?
I'm not objecting. She's asking this witness to comment on another witness's credibility.
No, the witness can answer if he knows.
Well, I do not recall.
So you're not sure if he was in his room?
It's hard to remember. It was 3 years ago.
You just testified that you were out playing yard games and grilling, isn't that right?
Correct.
And that Dalton was there.
Correct.
But you're telling us that if Dalton said that he actually showered and watched Rush Hour 1 in his room, that you're not sure if that happened?
No. How would I be sure if he was in his room watching Rush Hour? He could have done that during the shower, had it on, played it, then came outside.
Dalton Jack was interviewed several times when this originally happened. You knew that, is that right?
Correct.
In his recollection, within days of this happening, you'd agree that would be better than yours 3 years later.
Correct.
Workers at your company routinely share rooms, isn't that right?
Correct.
And in this case, are you aware that Dalton Jack was sharing a room with Brandon Gordy?
Yes.
Now, Brandon Gordy would be a better person to say where Dalton Jack was in the evening hours of July 18th of 2018. Isn't that right?
I'm going to object. This calls for speculation as to what Brandon Gordy may have said or seen or heard.
Sustained.
You'd agree with me that you go to sleep early so that you can start the day early. Isn't that right?
Yes.
And Brandon Gordy would be the person that is in the room with Dalton Jack that night.
Yes.
You were aware that Mollie Tibbetts and Dalton Jack were having problems with their relationship, isn't that right?
Objections exceeds the scope of direct, calls for speculation.
Overruled. The witness may answer if he knows.
Not at the time, no.
You found out after the fact?
I found out during the trial.
No further questions.
Mr. Brown, anything else to this witness?
No.
Okay. Sir, thank you for being here. You're excused.
Thank you.
Mr. Brown, does the state have any other rebuttal
No
evidence?
further rebuttal witnesses, Your Honor. State of Iowa rests.
Okay. Members of the jury, here's where we are with things. Both sides have rested. We're going to take a, let's say, 10 to 15 minute recess. We'll be back as quickly as we can. I want to remind you of your admonition. Leave your notebooks where they are. And just again, kind of give you a sense of where we're headed here. When we come back from the break, I will read to you the jury instructions, which are the law for the case. After that, we'll go into closing arguments for each side, and after that, you'll begin your deliberations. So again, let's be in recess. Let's say 15 minutes to be safe. Thank you, and Carrie, I think the hallway has been cleared, so you may step out. What? Yeah, okay. Hold on just a minute, please. Thank you, officer.